Greetings. Greetings, everybody. It's our favorite time of the week. It's Epic Cash Live Friday. It is 10. Let's see, make sure I'm not going to blow myself up. Nope, I'm good. I'm on mute. I always do that every week. I always have to. But it is a couple of days before Halloween, and tomorrow is a special day that we're going to talk about. Hint, having and we're going to talk a lot about a bunch of other things today. I have with me El McMurphy, who some of us know as Enrique, and he is from Ecuador, correct, sir?
No, I'm from Honduras.
Or Honduras. Geez, I'm sorry. I was speaking with someone from Ecuador yesterday, and I apologize about that. Honduras, coming from us live from Honduras. And we have Max Freeman on the line. Say hello, Max.
It's an epic day out here in Miami.
Nice. It is an epic day out there in Miami. And Max Freeman, for those of you who are new to the party, because there are lots of you who are new to the party, because there are lots of people who have, over the last week or two, gotten involved with Epic. And you've made some really good strategic financial decisions. And you decided to be able to take the coin seriously and do some thinking for yourself. And here you are, and I think you've enjoyed a really, really good week. But Max Freeman happens to be the founder of Epic Cash, the man who, in that supercomputer of a brain of his, has pulled this all together, pulled the team together. And it is just, it's a pleasure to have you, Max, as always. What we do every week on Epic Cash Live is we go through the top 15 chart. Epic Cash, Enrique has done a nice job that on September 3rd, he took a snapshot of Epic Cash against all of the top 15 coins at the time. Every single week, we have gone through it. He takes a snapshot at 11:15 a.m. Eastern time to keep things fair. No cherry picking a price there or cherry picking a price there. No, this is as fair can be. Before we go into this week's snapshot, I'm just going to go in and do a screen share and show you what last week looked like. It was quite impressive, guys. We're looking last week that if you bought Epic at 32 cents, September 3rd. And then let's look at Bitcoin. You bought 49,420, $1,000 worth. Let's just take a look at the gains here. You would be up 237% as of last Friday, and Bitcoin 24.7%. Now, that's over a 7-week period. I think anybody on the planet would say that's a hell of a gain right there, 24% in just less than 2 months. And of course, 237 is just epic. All right, let's use that as our basis. I'm going to pull up this week's chart, and if you don't mind, Enrique, why don't you walk us through it? There's been a little bit of a movement. Can you see that? Take us through that, sir.
Yeah, sure. So, like you explained earlier,
hold on. Yeah, let's wait for. Let's. All right. There's a drug raid.
Someone's in trouble.
Someone was using Bitcoin for that transaction, and since it's surveillance, they were able to track it right back to their IP address. We're going to get into
escape that.
Yeah, we're going to get into Bitcoin here in a bit. Okay, walk us through this, because to me this is like a what? Let's get through our wow factor. But why don't you just go ahead and take the uninitiated through this if this is their first time?
Yeah. Okay, so like you explained, on September 3rd, I did a thought experiment in which I would take $1,000 and invest it into each of the top 15 coins by market cap, and $1,000 into Epic, and see which one would perform better. And in the case of Epic, which was trading at 32 cents on September 3rd, you could have bought 3,125 coins with those $1,000 on that date. And if we move forward to today, October 29, and you look at the next column, the price at the time of the snapshot earlier this morning was $3.18. So in absolute values, your $1,000 would be worth $9,937 today. That's equivalent to a percentage increase of 893%. So with Epic, it's done, epically well. And if we compare that to BTC, hold on a second, there. With BTC, you can see it was at $49,420 on September 3rd. $1,000 would have gotten you 0.02 BTC, and it's gone up substantially since then. This morning, BTC was at $61,593, and your $1,000 today would be worth $1,246. Same as a 24.63% increase. And you can also look at the rest of the coins. Solana has done pretty well. It's up 40% since September 3rd. Matic 37, Luna 37 too. So you can see that a lot of the top 15 coins have done well. They haven't had bad returns since then, but Epic has been on another level. And well, at the bottom, you can see the ones that have actually lost value, which have taken quite a hit. But, what the tweet, I tweeted on September 3rd that I believe Epic would outperform all of the top 50 coins. And it appears that it's going to do so until the end of the year. And that percentage, I expect it to be much higher. But, these markets are very volatile. So anything can happen. But the tendency is, I think, becoming quite clear.
Max Freeman, what I love and hate about you, sir, is that you like to put a regulator on this kind of euphoria that I think all of us holding Epic have enjoyed over this past week. And, ever since our shitcoin trial where I interviewed you for the first time, which is about 4 months ago, we've been covering Epic every week. And so I was an early adopter before here. And so when I'm seeing this, I feel like there's lots of dopamine hits happening. Let's just say that, just because I feel that the time given this project within my journey, with all this channel is my promise has always been that I'm just following my journey. Now, it's gone through lots of different places, but it happens to be resting right now, where as of yesterday, I am 100% into Epic. And I made that decision all along the journey. And so I do have a lot of euphoria about this because I'm seeing it in my portfolio, and I know other people are. And I feel that people are going to be bragging about buying Epic at less than $5. They're going to be bragging about buying Epic at less than $10. They're going to be bragging of buying Epic when it was under $5. The design is like Bitcoin, and we're going to unpack the tale of two Bitcoins in a little bit. But I just want you to throw some water on us, give me that wet blanket, and kind of pull everyone back a little bit. Linus.
Yeah, exactly. So the problem is never the pump; it's the dump afterwards. I know many people are coming over from the pirate community, and it just sucks to buy something at $16 because somebody you trust tells you it's going to 1,000 or something, and then you have your eyelids ripped off, and you're facing a "do I sell it $2 before it goes down to $1" type of scenario. And so we want to be sensitive to the fact that not everybody has the foresight to come in, and some people like to do the toe in the water thing and ease in. And so it's going to make sense here. It's going to make sense 10 years from now and everywhere in between. The way Epic is structured is it's designed to reward the patient at the expense of the imprudent and impatient. And so if you try to time and trade and zoom in and out, then maybe you have those ninja skills to beat the other people at the poker table. But the way it's designed is that if you just simply let time work in your favor through the disinflationary halving schedule, then you just, once you understand the math, you can kind of chill out and let time take its natural course. And so what I take away from what we're seeing in the market is that we're about to face our third halving. Right now, today, it is 11.52 thousand coins per day, which is 8 per block, which comes once every minute. And before that, it was 16. So it was over 23,000 coins a day. And we know anecdotally from the mining channel, t.me/epic miners, that a certain type of participant in the market is more likely to sell to cover their electricity costs or hosting costs or things like that. We can see that in the different sensitivity to the price signal from the market of RandomX hash rate versus ProgPow hash rate. So in the past month or so, it looks like the RandomX hash rate has about tripled, whereas ProgPow has only gone up by double. So essentially what we're seeing here is that the plane is flying as intended. And as the scarcity profile continues to improve, going from 16 to 8 to 4 to 2 to 1, and then the big bang, it's not a halving, it's an 85%ing. On that day, which is going to be June of 2028, the supply of Epic that the network puts out will go from 1,440 down to only 210 to match BTC. So that's an 85%ing or something like that. And so essentially what we've done is make it profitable to have what's known as a low time preference. And dollar cost averaging is a really wise strategy on the intake. And then also being disciplined on the sales side and not being too greedy and try to time the markets. It takes some chips off the table, let other people come in and go for a ride to the next leg. It really pays to take the slow and steady approach here. We've got a lot of building to do and a lot to prove. There's a lot of other great projects out there, and we're really not taking anything for granted. So if anything, we're all working harder today because we have more to prove and more to justify if the market gives us this kind of value. We're at just under 50 million bucks right now, which is pretty validating, because when you do the math on all the other components of the ecosystem, we've become something of a quiet quiet storm.
Max, 2 weeks ago we were 5 million market cap. Just saying.
Right.
Yoga dude, welcome.
Hey guys.
Oh, we have Yoga in the house as well. Yoga is
Yoga in the car, but yeah.
in the car. I want to introduce you. I'm going to let you introduce yourself, because how I would introduce you would feel a bit too corporate, because to me you're like an ops guy, marketing guy combined, whatever. How would you describe what your role influence has been within this project?
Well, I mean, I'm just one of the volunteers in the project. I handle, I interface with our devs. I handle some of our marketing, and Max and I, we work together and we work with our, content creators. We work with our community. We're community builders. We're community volunteers. Sometimes I'm the guy who has to moderate the chat channel. Sometimes, I'm the guy who, talks to the devs about technical stuff. And, so it's a little bit of everything, really. I mean, my background is marketing, operations, business development. So that's kind of, many hats. And in a project like Epic, where there is no corporation and we're kind of, we do what we have to do, so everybody pitches in and everybody has a role of, playing to their strengths and their experience. My background is boring corporate experience. So I am the, Silicon Valley guy. I've been in Silicon Valley for, working in Silicon Valley for like 30 plus years. I bring that range of experience. I worked for small startups. I worked for, large multinational companies. I scaled things up, in retail and in manufacturing. That's kind of my background. I'm the ops guy, and I'm the guy that scales small things into big things.
Excellent.
And
Excellent.
I think Epic is pretty well poised for my skill set. to be able to really, take it to the next level and the next level and the next level.
Indeed, indeed. Enrique, I don't want to leave you out. Why don't you give people a quick background of you, because there are most who haven't met you if they've gotten into Epic this week. And let me tell you, I can tell you personally, I've been on the phone lots walking people through how to get BTC into the Vite wallet and going through the process. It's been a blast.
A lot of snapshots sent back and forth through messaging services, but it's what we have to do. So a little background on me. I most of my professional career, was in finance. In 2016, I got interested in cryptocurrencies. Been a full-time trader since 2019, and been into Epic pretty much all in since May of this year. So yeah, that's my background. Crypto lover, obsessed. That's basically it.
I think everybody gets a little
Simple.
bit obsessed with Epic. So yeah, it's been a great week, everyone. And thank you, Max, for kind of putting a regulator on the euphoria, because hopefully as we move along, the community will appreciate a few things about us. One is that we're not just pump. We are taking snapshots, which are facts, and we're talking about those. That is way different than, to the moon and all of this. No, we're just showing you on a weekly basis what is happening organically in the market. So you can't get more fact-based than we've been for the last 2 months, walking through that process every Friday. It just happens to be that we're kicking ass and taking names, and we're going to continue to. But I love what Yoga says, and Yoga, maybe you can comment on this, because you made a really great observation. What has changed from last Friday to this Friday? Has our fundamentals changed at all, Yoga?
They haven't, and that's really. I've said this before, and I'll say it again. But today is the worst day for Epic Cash, because tomorrow is going to be better. Our fundamentals haven't changed. Our limited emission schedule is locked into 21 million matching Bitcoin. We are privacy enhanced, censorship resistant crypto. So in today's world, people are beginning to realize really fast the value of privacy, as more and more government and various organizations start looking closer and closer at how can they squeeze a little bit of extra out of people, regardless of whether their jurisdiction applies. So fundamentally, we have not changed, but the awareness keeps going up. And people say, well, you guys haven't done a lot of marketing. Well, that's by design, because we're an organically growing sort of grassroots project, okay, like Bitcoin was. And fundamentally, what else, well, you guys don't have any big names attached to you. Like, the Winklevoss twins are not pitching Epic. Well, that's very true. And all of those things are true. And here we are at 40+ million market cap. So my challenge to people is to realize this: it is the fundamentals that matter. It is the tokenomics. It is the values those are the values that we offer.
Can I interject here? I'm sorry to interrupt,
Sure.
but I want to just put an exclamation point on that. The fundamentals are driving this project. It is not attached to a personality who is talking it up and getting everyone pumped up and pumped into it. We're the anti that. We want the fundamentals to speak for themselves, because we talk about, a design based upon the original Satoshi vision. So we talk about BTC is not Bitcoin. And we talk about Epic Cash is Bitcoin perfected. I want to show this, Max, right here. Would you please take us through a tale of two Bitcoins? Because I really think this is important to unpack for people's get it factor to just explode.
Yeah, so it seems like splitting hairs, but when you think about it, it's really, really important. BTC has gone from a distributed design to a decentralized design, and Epic retains a distributed design. So what does that mean? If you read the Satoshi white paper, it says Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. And now what we have in 2021 is we don't have peer-to-peer transactions. The number of people who do the things that the network did in the very beginning, running their own nodes while they're mining, sending transactions to people, that hasn't been a thing for like 10 years. It's mostly, I go to Coinbase, I give them my money, and then they do some things on the chain and give me some coins. And so you have a structure that in practice is P to financial institution to another financial institution, and then P. So you've got these banking institution intermediaries that are generally not mining. They are usually running nodes, so at least that's good. They're contributing to the security of the network. But a distributed system is where everybody has the same data on their local system, and they don't have to go to anybody else to validate it. And so again, what's the difference? If I have the entire chain file on my local device, which in Epic is 1.9 gigabytes and in BTC is 355 because of a compression technology known as Mimblewimble, which also is what gives the privacy benefit. If you're interested in that, join us at t.me/FreemanU, and there's a lot of good content on that. Also, there's a new resource called encyclopediafreemania.com that has a lot of our content. It's very rough and raw and new. It will get prettier.
Hold on right there, if you don't mind.
Oh, okay, good idea. Yeah.
Let me just pull this up. I think it is. I apologize, guys. I just have to find it. I should have, and now I can't find my damn mouse.
Hey, while you're looking for your mouse, let me just kind of underscore one point. Okay, as far as marketing goes, marketing is important. Okay, I am a marketing guy. That's part of my background also. Okay, but you got to realize that tech is a lot of things. Okay, and properly explain tech that's easy to understand is a lot of things, because a coin comes to mind. Okay, let's call it the Doge hypothetically. Okay, that is being pimped out nonstop by the richest man in the world, by Elon Musk. Okay, and it's still stuck. Like when I discovered my dusty Doge wallet and I dumped it at 32 cents, like months ago, it hasn't. Apparently I dumped it at their high. Okay, and this is marketing. This is like nonstop marketing. People are yelling like, "Oh my God, like we got a token with a doggy on it, yay!" And Elon freaking Musk is pimping this thing out nonstop, and nobody cares. Okay, it's sitting like in 20 somewhat cents, and he's saying like there's going to be like the crypto of Mars or Venus or Uranus or whatever. Okay, but nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
Okay, that is, to me, that is poignant. Okay, marketing only gets you so far. Flip side of that, our organic marketing, our simply word of mouth. Okay, is we 10x, we 50x, we whatever x. Okay, and we're not even at our point of equilibrium. We will become a commodity at some point. Okay, when we cross Bitcoin, and when we see Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But until that time, it is our fundamentals that carry us. And they don't need Elon Musk to explain them. They are self-evident. They're blunt. It's Bitcoin with freaking privacy, okay? With lighter blockchain using today's technology. Mic drop. Sorry, that was it for me.
And you can mine it, and you can mine it at home today.
What's that, Enrique?
Yeah, I want to add one thing. Like with the coins that Yoga mentioned, it's one tweet, one announcement that pumps the price. With Epic, it's the work that has been done over the past few years, and that's what will continue to drive the price of the developments. The price will follow. It's not because of some, breaking news that we hear with. Other coins.
Just because you guys know me by now, I'm feeling a little ornery right now. So I'm just going to pop this up before we go talk about Encyclopedia Freemania, Max. I just want you to, I just want you to take a
Oh.
look at this and comment on this if you don't mind, because I think this is great.
Yes, with pleasure. So the first and foremost, I guess I think of Bitcoin as a scarcity system. In other words, the Bitcoin is the song that is on the silver disk that spins around. It doesn't matter whether it's a CD-ROM like BTC or maybe a DVD or a Blu-ray like Epic. Maybe Epic V3 versus V4 or 5 would be the analogy now that I think of it. But ultimately, it's about the integrity of that 21 million. And so over the course of 12 years, because we have this P to FI to FI to P type of structure, and the use case has gone from cash, which means a medium of exchange, a fluid thing that can circulate around person to person. Now the prevailing ideology is HODL. And you can HODL just as well if you let Coinbase do it as if you hold it on your ledger yourself. In fact, they probably have superior security protocols to yours at home in most cases. So there's really no difference whether you HODL at Coinbase or HODL on your ledger. But that is not the case for Epic for two reasons. Number one, the primary value that we're seeing in the market, I think, is people recognizing that it's really expensive and slow to go through banks, both ends of the transaction. It's 10 minutes, it's $3 to $62, and your transactions are censorable and data mined and manipulated markets.
How much money was spent yesterday, let's say, in fees, Bitcoin fees of people transacting
So I don't know yesterday, but the last time I checked a few days ago, it was $879,000.
That's one day just fees to
Yes.
be able to move it from one place to another. Like a lot of people are moving
Yeah,
BTC
Right.
into Vite Wallet
that's
by
like
Epic Cash.
Yep.
that's the norm, about $1 million a day. In October, from the 1st to the 24th, BTC users paid about just over $22 million in fees. That comes out to almost $3.50 per transaction.
And that's nothing, because in April of this year, it was $62. And back in December
Yep.
2017, it was $81.
And how much does
so-
it cost to move Epic?
So right now it's 0.006 cents. It's basically an anti-spam measure.
Explain that.
It's $0.0006. So
3 zeros before the 6.
yeah, so it's $0.000. Just so you.
What is that, like 160
clear.
transactions for I don't even know. Whatever it is, it's essentially free.
Yeah.
And the other thing is that Epic transactions are 1 minute. The heartbeat of the network in
Not
BTC
true.
is 10 minutes.
Not true. Not true. It's like seconds. I'm telling you, I've done this so many times this week, onboarding people, and as soon as I hit send, man, it's there.
That's the Vite chain that you're working with.
Oh, okay.
It's on-chain Vite.
Yeah, but since now that ECR is a thing, we owe it to people to talk a little bit about the future, and we usually don't do that. And so if you deep dived into our glimpse of the future marketing materials stuff on, say, epicentral.io, there's an asset on there called Eon. Eon is the Epicenter Open Network, and essentially it is that same type of experience and underlying tech, let's say. So for the DEX use case, that it's called a hierarchical delegated proof of stake structure with a local DAG is really appropriate. And so we're going to be talking a lot more about Eon. Incidentally, just as the initial state of ECR ownership was determined by the February 28th snapshot, we still haven't distributed those tokens. We anticipate doing so just as quickly as we can post V3 release. That's the thing we have to really stick first, and we're focused on that. So you had one Epic, and now you get one ECR. We're extending that same philosophy. If you own one ECR, then you're going to get one of these Eon, and there's other things like that as well. And so ECR is the gift that keeps on giving as far as the other components of the network. And of course, Epic remains the core, and there will be a number of air grabs and additional drops to be spoken about later on that. We don't want to stoke the FOMO,
Sure.
but it's, in fairness, that is the plan. So
Well, let's finish this Satoshi Sandcastle just
Right.
to gift wrap this.
Yeah, so just to finish the final thought though. So basically with BTC, you have a 10-minute transaction. Epic is 1. BTC is $3 to, let's say, $62. Epic is a fraction of a penny. BTC, your transactions are censorable, and people can see your transactions and use them against you, like the Tether guys and stuff like that. Nobody can see anything about transactions in Epic, so it's not manipulable in the same ways. And the other thing that I think is increasingly going to become really relevant as people resent the fact that in BTC, 2% of the addresses hold 95% of the coins. That's the stat. Well, let's enact things like unrealized gains taxation, which is really easy on a transparent ledger. Oh, and by the way, let's build them for the negative externalities of the e-waste footprint that is being generated. You can see confiscated ASIC miners in Malaysia being steamrolled. You would ask yourself, well, why wouldn't they plug them in and make money? Well, because they're so outraged at the pollution of their country from this scourge that they would rather destroy them than make the money. And so Epic generates no incremental e-waste footprint while not sacrificing anything on security. In fact, we believe long-term that it will have more security because of the multi-algorithm structure, and it runs primarily on commodity equipment. So 48% on CPU with RandomX and 48% with GPU on ProgPow. That means you can mine it at home. So fundamentally, if you want original Bitcoin, where you have that scarcity that's not tainted, or let's say no tainted coins are possible. The scarcity is not undermined, as is Satoshi's beautiful sandcastle, by fractional reserve, which is where if I have my coins on Coinbase and then they lend them out to a hedge fund or a bank, let's say, and then they lend them out again, you've got the same fractional reserve model as the banking system, and there can be as many BTC as people are willing to accept representations, IOUs of BTC in place of actual coins.
Stop right there. Can you please?
You mean I can't withdraw my Bitcoin from Robinhood?
Well, that's why I was going to ask. No, seriously. I was going to ask that, Yoga, I want to use this as an opportunity for you to educate that we have this new Telegram group, t.me/EpicHood, which is the young demographics answer to Robinhood, because there's a group of them who arrived at the awareness that, holy cow, are you saying I bought my BTC on Robinhood, but I can't move it out of Robinhood into Vite Wallet to buy Epic Cash? That became a wake-up moment for them that pissed them off. And so they're like, screw that, screw Robinhood. If that's not mine, we're going to go to EpicHood. So we invite anybody who is a younger demographic, please come over to t.me/EpicHood. Be part of that movement. There's a bunch of smart kids in there right now that are really, really learning this stuff, going to Freeman U, and it's exciting because I think that's going to be a flashpoint that is just going to take off, because these individuals who are in there now, they're starting a little club at their university, an EpicHood club, that they're going to start having meetings and being able to have guest speakers over a speakerphone to be able to talk about this. It's extremely, extremely exciting. But I want you to, Max, ground that with this fractional reserve idea, and what is Robinhood doing? Because obviously nobody is really buying Bitcoin.
Yeah, so if you buy a digital asset, say BTC on Robinhood, you cannot withdraw it. It's funny, if you actually ask them to. I know a guy who did this, and he got a form letter from customer service that said, we don't allow customers to withdraw because you might do something bad with it, like gambling or pornography or just this complete patronizing, like, we can tell you what you can and can't do with your money, and nanny state type of thinking, which I think is really representative of the overall experience. I mean, GameStop is going up. No, you can only sell today. Like, it's just the casino lets you win once in a while, but when push comes to shove, they're going to make the money. That's what it's all about. And so Robinhood makes money in a number of ways, but one of them is through lending the assets on its balance sheet out. So let's say I'm a hedge fund and I want to get a hold of some BTC for whatever reason. I can go to Robinhood and pay them an interest rate and borrow that. Well, now the kids on Epichood, they have one BTC on Robinhood, and now the hedge fund has some BTC. And maybe they lend it out to a bank who lends it out to another guy, who lends it out to another guy and another guy and another guy. So we know from fractional reserve banking in the traditional finance system that there's a multiplier effect, and it just leads to this exponential growth in the supply. If you want to geek out about that type of stuff, it's called Exter's pyramid. And we unpack that in Free U. And so basically you've got those same forces that are undermining the supply integrity. Fractional reserve is a big one. What I just described is rehypothecation is technically where you post your assets out to a counterparty. Usually, just like bonds are used, nobody invests in bonds to get a 2% yield for 30 years. They're used as collateral for derivatives and financial products. And we're seeing that same thing here in BTC. But with Epic, you need to hold it to use it. You need two reasons. Number one, for the medium of exchange to do P2P uncensorable confidential transactions where you don't have to trust anybody and you don't need a permission and you don't need KYC and you don't need 7 forms of ID and a paternity test. You just plug in the software and use it. You can run the whole chain on your local device. Today, that's a desktop, but tomorrow it'll be a mobile device, and you'll be able to mine from that too. So the other reason that you need to hold Epic is because as we build out Every Citizen's Reserve and the Bank of Uncle V and the Bank of Enrique and Bank of Yoga Dude, you'll be able to use your Epic as collateral. That's the only collateral that will ever be accepted on the platform to issue yourself EUSD loans that you can go and spend and put yourself on the right side of inflation and do so in a tax advantaged way.
Give me an example. Give me an example of that. I know in Free U there was an example this morning that will help people visualize this.
Yeah, and that's a good idea. Maybe for a future show where we'll put up a visual to take people through as we yap. But essentially, let's say you have a position in Epic. Let's call it $100,000, and you want to buy a car for $25K. So depending on where you live, let's say you're relatively well-to-do and you're paying about half your income in taxes. The marginal rate in states like New York and California is pushing 60, I think. So in order to afford a $25,000 car, you're going to have to sell $50,000 worth of coins or half your holdings. So our intuition, at least at the very start, in terms of how to over collateralize the system and keep it safe, because Epic is going to be very, very volatile for a long time. I mean, BTC is still volatile 12 years later. So we should expect that as well. So if you're going to have to take a hit of twice the amount of coins anyway, instead of losing the future appreciation, what you do is you put them in what we're going to call Every Citizen's Reserve. So you stick them in the Bank of Uncle V, and you issue yourself a no interest, no payments loan for 25,000 EUSD. So you would put up, at today's price of $3, let's call it, you'd put up 16.6 thousand coins or $50,000 worth of value. And then against that, you borrow 25,000 EUSD tokens. And you can use those to pay the seller directly or use a fiat off-ramp, such as a Coinbase or Gemini or one of those, if that's appropriate for the situation.
And when Coinbase, when you off-ramp that, how does that not flag? How does that not become a taxable event in the eyes of?
Because it's a loan.
Okay, but so what kind of documentation is there for you to be able to say no? I know you just sent me a 1099 for that. How can that be a loan? Or I don't know if they do send a 1099. I guess that's where I'm unclear.
I just saw the Coinbase KYC thing, and it's like 27 bullet points. I mean, the hoops you have to jump through to do any kind of interface between fiat to crypto. I'd say instead of filling out forms, why don't you tell the seller how he's better off accepting a USD directly and cut the coercive currency out of the picture.
Right. 100%. Okay. So, but anyway, there will be a way to off ramp that. I muddied the water. So
Many.
And
It's an open marketplace. These are decentralized permissionless protocols. Anybody can do whatever they want with them.
Okay. So then walk us through that. So I sold.
Okay.
60,000
So then,
coins.
yeah. So then you've locked up 16,000 coins and you still have half your position. You remain in control constantly because you have the keys to the blockchain locations. Let's just say it's Ethereum for the sake of argument. Ultimately, we're going to extend the system to 30 plus blockchains. So if you like Solana or Cardano or Polkadot or Tron or any one of those, you'll be able to get there using this. So you've posted your coins. Think of it kind of like a pawn shop, let's say, and it's just like that. You have to pay back your 25,000 EUSD loan to get your coins back. Well, if the coins appreciate, remember, you're still holding on to half your stack, and the EUSD to Epic rate is declining because they're printing so many USD at the Federal Reserve level. Today, you're paying for a car, but you may pay it back with a bicycle worth of actual purchasing power because you're required to pay back 25,000 EUSD.
Okay.
And if those are worth toilet paper, then you're good.
Time out. So those 13,000 coins that I put in there,
16.
or 16, I'm sorry. So those, I can buy those back at that $16,000. So they're still appreciating in value themselves, right? I mean, it's not
They're
like
still your coins. They're still your coins.
they're still my coins. That's such an important point because let's say that just walk through the exercise of let's say by the time I take that loan from myself, Epic Cash ends up going 10x. Do that math for me and how easily it is to just, you want those coins back? Here, it's going to cost you nothing.
Well, okay. So you had to give up 16.6K coins to get the loan. And then if the price 10x is, it's going to cost you 1.66K Epic to pay it back. So you've come out ahead 15,000 Epic.
Right. Versus what was it? If you had to, sell your Bitcoin.
Yeah. So you would have given up half your position, sold 16,000 coins, and then you still would have done really well. You would have 10x your money on the 16,000 coins. But instead of a car plus 15,000 coins, all you ended up with was a car.
Right. And a tax bill.
Well, and also like the moral issue of what is done with that money. When you use a USD, because it runs at least the initial versions on surveillance-enabled observable ledgers like Ethereum and so forth, you've got complete transparency. Whereas when you pay money into a public institution, let's just be charitable and say that sometimes it ends up in the pocket of the brother-in-law who runs the paving contractor on the bridge to nowhere, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Right. So, okay. Through all of that, we talked about rehypothecation. Now let's just talk about tainted coins, and then we can wrap up Satoshi Sandcastles before it completely blows up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that'll ever be the case because we still use fax machines and dial-up modems and ride horses and all that. But tainted coins is really pernicious because there's a supplementary off-chain political consensus. The way it works is if you send a transaction to an address that these services such as Chainalysis and Elliptic view as high risk, it'll just kick it out. If you've ever used an exchange and it says, oh, this address doesn't pass our risk screening, you can't do this. That additional layer of friction is imposed by these intermediaries who say, we're gonna police which coins are involved in gambling and unsavory activities. The sins of the prior coins holders carry along with those coins indefinitely. And so when the Silk Road got busted, the feds took a lot of BTC, and that became tainted BTC, or it was tainted because it had been through the Silk Road. But then they decided to untaint it so that they could sell it to a hedge fund. So basically, who's in control of which coins are valid? Remember, it's a decentralized system run by financial institutions. And so if they don't accept the coins, oh, those coins are bad. Well, you're out of luck. How do you get on these no-fly lists? Who watches the watchers? Conflicts of interest, agency problems. There's just a whole thicket of thorny problems that are not going away. And so those are all under the rubric of tainted coins. But the bigger picture is that the structural integrity of Satoshi's sandcastle is built on the pillars of censorship resistance, permissionlessness, trustlessness, neutrality, borderlessness, and openness. And now we see that every single one of those is being eroded in turns, because CipherTrace, which MasterCard just bought for 3.2 billion, incidentally, can censor and filter and blacklist your transactions. The network itself cannot be censored. We know that after 12 years, the design works, but you can be censored, and increasingly you will be.
Wow. Excellent. Excellent. So let me ask you this, Max, just in 60 seconds, if you're talking to a Bitcoin maxi, why Epic versus Bitcoin?
Because Epic is Bitcoin and BTC no longer is.
Okay, but ground that. I'm talking about, I am a legitimate Bitcoin maxi. I'm married to it. Why would I even look at you? Look at this silly little $40 million project.
Right. And Yoga is more concise than I am. And so I'll let him answer this in his own way after I go. But the way I look at it is there's two camps. The litmus test is, are you a Bitcoin maxi or a BTC maxi? Because if you really peek under the hood at what is Bitcoin, it's a peer-to-peer electronic cash system designed for small payments. It's designed to make it so that financial institutions have no role, and you don't need any permission. You don't need any trust. And it's designed to respect privacy and anonymity. If you dive into the white paper, that's what you'll see. That is not what we have in BTC, but it is what we have in Epic. So, for me, it's that simple. If you're a Bitcoin maxi, eventually you become all in Epic. If you're a BTC maxi, then you're a bag pumping apologist shill. Sorry, that's how it is.
Oh,
okay. I want
drop.
to kind of come in at it from a slightly different angle.
Sure.
My maybe use the Socratic method, if you will, or something. Let me just ask a stupid, dumb question of my BTC maxi friend. Okay, why are you still holding it? Okay, do you believe that it will 3x, 5x, 10x, or are you just holding it as a hedge against inflation? Or like Michael Saylor, bright guy, holds 91,000 Bitcoins. Okay, he's only been in Bitcoin like over a year. Okay, he's not an OG or whatever, but he's one of the most visible figures today. And this brilliant guy, he got into Bitcoin essentially because his software business, and that's all it was, MicroStrategies, software company, was looking at a really robust cash and credit book that was facing 15% plus inflation. And he jumped into Bitcoin, not because he was thinking that it was going to like 3x or whatever, but he jumped into Bitcoin because he saw that the dollar is losing its value faster than Bitcoin gaining its value. Okay, so he jumped into it. And 3 years later, he looks like one of the smartest guys on earth, because the last I checked, I think he cost averaged into his Bitcoin holdings at about 23 grand. Okay, which is, holy crap, he tripled his money, right? Now, today, Michael is looking at, and Bitcoin kind of got to like 60K, 66K, and then it rolled back. And now it's like at 58K. And now it's back at 61K, and now it's at 63 and 61, et cetera, et cetera. But it's wobbling. It peaked, okay? So if you're Michael Saylor today, and you're looking at Bitcoin, and you look at like Jason Williams or some of those other guys, who are like pitching Bitcoin as an alternative to gold, and their pitch is, well, look, guys, gold is tired. Okay, this is an outdated. This is like the Egyptian time frame. Like 3,000-year-old commodity. Okay. So gold is solid, but it's not going to gain you, that mad multiplier. Okay. Plus gold is measured in what? Dollars, so again, there's that. So why don't you try this new thing called Bitcoin? And they're still pitching it as new, even though it's 13-year-old tech, as a hedge against what? Inflation. Okay, great. except the one thing, and there's a lot of white elephants in the room. Once Bitcoin guy starts talking, these elephants just start wandering in and in and in, like how it's not fungible, how it's not private, how it's censorship, et cetera. But screw that. Okay. Look at it at a fundamental level. Okay.
Mhm.
What happened is, and the dirty little secret, Bitcoin became that boring commodity that they were poo-pooing. It's in the price. And it's funny. Okay. But Bitcoin versus gold today, it's kind of subject to the same ebbs and flow. Yes, it's absolutely limited at 21 mil, and gold is not. Okay. That is really its only remaining thing, but it's in the price. People know that. It's not like, it's not like something new is going to be discovered about Bitcoin tomorrow. Okay, it's just going to blow everybody away and force everybody to just go and get Bitcoin. 140 million people already holding it in one form or another. Okay.
Yeah.
So it is an aged out commodity at this point. So my pitch is the same as what Bitcoin guys were using before. Epic Cash is more likely to 10x, 20x, 1000x, whatever. Okay, than Bitcoin. It's the same argument that they used against gold. That's it. It's really that simple. Yes, its scarcity is the same as Bitcoin. 21 million epics. We're at 13 million right now. There's plenty more left. Okay, and we're kind of catching up with Bitcoin's emission, and then we have this moment where we actually match Bitcoin's emission, and from there on till 2140, we're going to go hand to hand with the same emission schedule as Bitcoin. Okay, so we get the same scarcity, but we are censorship resistant. We're newer tech. Again, I've said this before, and I've done a pretty little picture, but Satoshi did Bitcoin in 2008. Okay, leaning on 2008 tech, math, computers, et cetera, and understanding of economics. If Satoshi was doing Bitcoin in 2014, having learned from his mistakes and from reality adjustments, not even necessarily mistakes, but just reality adjustments, okay, it probably would have been Monero, okay? But if Satoshi was doing Bitcoin in 2019, it would have been Epic Cash, okay? It makes sense. It's leaner, it's, enhanced privacy. It just makes sense. It's better tech, okay? And I'm not undermining how good Bitcoin's tech is. I mean, it's still around and it has a value. Hence, it has a commodity value. It has an established value. But as far as its future potential that's a question that I draw attention to.
Well,
its
Max,
future potential.
Thank you, Yoga Max. Can you tell me what has to happen as far as dollars in, right? Fiat dollars in for BTC to BTC to 3x? What would have to happen for it to be to 3x? If I'm like, okay, it's 60,000 today. I believe over the next year, all of this talk about we're going to go into this hyperbolic phase, and Willy Woo saying that it could be 3 or 4x. Let's just play that game. What would have to happen for BTC to hit $250,000 a coin? And what would it take for Epic Cash trading today at $3.18? What would have to happen for us to be able to go to, let's say, $15 in comparison?
So I'm doing the math in my head. So this is ballpark, but it takes over 3 trillion in value inflow to move the needle. I mean, not necessarily an inflow necessarily, but a shift in value from other buckets to this bucket. So to go from today's present value of about 1.1 trillion to 250, that's about a 4x. So from 1 trillion to 4 trillion, that's an incremental 3 trillion. That's 30% of the market cap of gold, which took 6,000 years for our species to accumulate that amount of value in gold. Now, BTC is in many ways a better gold, but Epic is an even better Bitcoin or better gold, let's say, than either of those two for many different reasons. And so all roads lead back to us. I had something in mind as you guys were talking. I think one man's bug is another man's feature. And if you look at it from the perspective of a dictator of El Salvador, as an example, the ability to filter, blacklist, censor, surveil transactions and deny them to your political opponents and tax them on theoretical phantom unrealized gains, that's a panacea. And so I think banks and government institutions will use BTC because everything that we consider bad as people is really good for them. And maybe they should use it because then we have greater transparency into how our resources are being spent. And so I kind of draw a distinction between Epic as the people's Bitcoin and BTC as the, let's say, bankster tax cronyist Bitcoin.
Okay, let's book in my question. 3 trillion, if I'm gonna 4x into BTC, what about Epic Cash? How much inflow
150 million.
we would have
So
to have?
3 trillion versus 150 million. It's 20,000x more capital efficient here.
Okay, if it 3x from here and it takes 150 million, that would take us up to 200 million. Enrique, can you tell me where that would put us on the top 1,000 coins? And tell us where we're sitting at currently today. Sorry to just drop that question on you, but you're good at this stuff. And I just want to raise the awareness of this because I take a pragmatic approach. When I was looking at divesting of all of my 25 positions and just gorillaing in to Epic Cash, this is why I made that decision, that financial decision, because, as crazy as it seems, guys, I did major in finance, if you can believe that. And this I figured out pretty easily. I went through the exercise with every one of my coins and I asked the same question. I looked at their market cap and I asked how much inflow would it take to 4x and how much would it take to 4x Epic Cash. Now, at the time I was doing that, it was our market cap was $5 million. So I think you can appreciate that I'm sitting here pretty happy right now that I went through that exercise when I did, but it's not too early to go through that exercise with your portfolio. I'm going to give a little free commercial to a website out there called Godex.io. That's GODEX.io. If you are interested in Epic Cash and want to buy some, down below, always in my show notes, show description, is how to buy Epic Cash. You can click on those links. There are some people who like to watch videos, others who like text, or you can go to t.me/Epic Cash help desk, and they will help you. But if you do want to be able to take, let's say you have Ether, and you don't want to screw around with going to a KYC exchange and getting BTC and creating a transparent transaction there, you can send your ETH to Godex.io and convert it. They convert it as a service, and the fee is very, very reasonable. Give them your cross-chain BTC address within the the Vite wallet, and all you do is you send your ETH to Godex.io. They magically convert it, and it ends up deposited right where you need to deposit it so that you can use it within Vitex to transfer into the trading side of Vitex and buy some Epic Cash. So with all of that, Enrique, that's given you some time for us to get to be 200 million, which would 4x us from here, which is $3.18. Where would we need to get to?
Yeah, I have an observation with that. Currently, we're ranked at 728. And in order for us to 4x, if our market cap right now is 42 million, that doesn't mean that we, it's not as simple as just saying, okay, so we'll multiply it times 4. It would take
Enrique, thank you. Yeah, thank you for calling that out. Okay, because Uncle, I understand you have a degree in economics, but it's a very non-linear relationship. So at best you can ballpark it. Okay, and it's because you don't want to make the same mistake as the extremely scholarly American HODL did when he offered to buy all of us at $5 million. Okay.
No, this is good. This is good. But
so this is a very no. I'm telling you how it is. It's a very non-linear exercise. So we're talking about multitudes.
Understood. So
yeah,
we'll walk us through that.
The exercise.
Yeah.
The exercise I'm doing is
I just want to finish because this channel is dedicated to newbies. So we don't know all of that, Yoga. So walk us
Yeah.
through this because this is
So this is why we have to be really accurate with our details.
right.
Yeah.
So make us accurate. That's what Enrique is going to do right now. Because
Yeah, so to reach a market cap of 80 million, right now we're currently standing at $40 million dollar market cap. It doesn't mean that $40 million needs to go in for that to happen.
okay.
It depends on the sell orders that are on exchanges and on the supply that's coming in after people buy the coin. The exercise I'm currently been working on, it's kind of put me in a similar figure to the money that has come in to buy Epic over the last week. So we said we were going to do a show about it
Yeah.
this coming week
Yeah.
and go through the calculations. But roughly from what the calculations that I have been doing this week with the sell orders and with the new supply coming in each day and taking into account certain variables, like for example, out of the new supply, 90% is being sold. We have to speculate on some factors, but it would roughly take a low 7-figure amount or a high 6-figure amount for us to 2 or 3x from here. So it doesn't take that much money. We're talking either in the low millions, less than $4 million, or maybe a little bit less than $1 million for us to,
To 4x.
2x from here, 3x.
And
Yeah.
there's another halving coming up in 2 years. So before we know it, another one
Yeah.
will be right back upon us, and that takes another 2880 coins a day out. So this is just going to keep happening until the singularity.
So this becomes
The other thing to consider is, and so since we're talking math here, okay, I just want to make sure that we're excruciatingly clear on one more factor, okay, and that is, what is people's threshold? What is people's perception of the crypto? In other words, I mean, this is all fine and good, assuming that people keep playing by the same rules, okay? However, you have to consider a simple fact that historically, crypto leaves hands of those who are, let's say, they are less trusting in the project than those who are entering the project, who are buying it from them. That we'll agree on that, right? That's a really basic premise, okay? In other words, money is leaving, as Elon would put it, paper hands and going into the diamond hands, okay? Here you go. That's my homage to Elon for the day. But the thing to consider is this. What is the strike price? What is the strike price of the people who are acquiring? How much do they believe in Epic? Okay, I'm not selling my Epic when it goes 10x. I'm not selling it when it goes to 20x. Okay, so the supply of available Epic, there's the halving, there's the increase in mining, so there's a mining difficulty increase. Epic is becoming more scarce and harder to get at. And guess what? It is becoming harder to buy. So the amount to move, if people just say, you know what, screw it, I'm not selling it for less than $100. I'm not selling it for, I'm not selling it for less than let's call it a weird number.
yeah.
I'm not selling for less than $380. Okay, this is a beautiful number. It's a non-prime, but it's still a beautiful number. And there's a reason why I'm picking that, okay? Because at $380, if that is the price of Epic, that gives us that $5 billion market capitalization of Monero. Okay, so if I believe that Epic is at least as good as Monero, let's say I believe that it's as good as Pirate Chain, okay? So that's that's about $32 per Epic. If you take Pirate Chain's float divided it by the number of Epics out there, in other words, Pirate Chain's market cap divided by Epic's float, okay, that's the number you're going to get. So $32 Epic if you believe that Epic is as good as Pirate Chain. Okay, 160-ish bucks if you believe that Epic is as good as Zcash. 380-ish bucks if you believe that Epic. I'm playing loose right now with figures, but I'm in the ballpark within probably about 10 bucks, okay? Because I'm just walking here looking at the beautiful ducks and just, talking to you guys, okay? So this is on top of all the math that you're doing. You have to assume certain things about the market conditions, about what is the perceived value of Epic is amongst the Epic holders. So even if somebody throws $1 million at it today, they might not be able to acquire any Epic.
Right.
Because people are not going to sell. I'm not. Okay. I know a lot of people who are not. I'm not
Can I
selling
ask
Epic for $100.
At the beginning of this week, the supply in Byte was about 250,000 Epic. And mid this week, when I redid the exercise, it was just over 100,000. So,
Wow.
People
Wait,
probably decided, no, I'm not going to sell it. And it's a good way to also track, what the mentality is. How many
Yeah, look at the order book.
Epic
Exactly.
are on the
Look at
sell
the order book.
orders.
What's crazy is people the narrative, the story that supports the value for Litecoin LTC is that it's a silver to BTC's gold. It's a 2.5 minute block time, slightly different algorithm, mineable little brother of BTC. That's all it is. They quadrupled the supply, so 84 million, and shrunk the block time to 2.5 minutes. That's it. But they've been working for quite some time on adding Mimblewimble as a optional extension block sidechain, kind of like strapping a Ducati to your vintage locomotive steam engine is kind of how I think of it. So a brilliant technical tour de force, and it will serve to highlight the importance of Mimblewimble, which then once you become educated about why that's important, you want real L1, layer one Mimblewimble, not this strap your Ducati to the side of a freight train kind of a Rube Goldbergian setup. And so market cap parity with Litecoin is $1,000.
I love that, Max. And I just wanted to talk about earlier the idea of being able to borrow against the Bank of You, because to me, that's what grounds me when I think to myself, I'm like, I'm never selling. Why would I want to sell? I want to acquire as much as I can so that at some point in time that if I want to off ramp some money to be able to buy some fancy pants and lollipops or a car or a down payment or whatever, I want to borrow against myself. And I am acquiring this brilliant asset that why would I sell it? And so I think people are going to arrive at that decision. Because what? You're going to educate me.
Yeah. Uncle, I'll give you $1 million a piece for all your Epic today. Would you sell me some? Yes, you would.
Yes.
Everybody has their number. So price elasticity is a thing, as is supply elasticity. So that's actually a bug or a feature, not a bug of the system, because what must happen is that the market equilibrium price of the demand, the perceived value, it meets up against the brick wall of the 21 million scarcity and the disinflationary halving of less coins coming out every day. And that's why we've historically seen BTC and now Epic go from this progression. I call it the concentric rings theory of 1 cent to 10 cents to $1 to $10 to 100 to 1,000 to 10,000 to 100,000. And so BTC is about 60% through the 100,000 ring, and we're 30% of the way through the $10 ring. But if you really understand the forces that give rise to that kind of behavior, then it makes logical sense and it flows. So I think ultimately my personal belief and where I'm positioned, I've been all in Epic since 2019 myself, obviously not in the Epic protocol itself because it was too small to absorb a lot of capital, but in the ecosystem around it and what is now Epicenter writ large and all the supplementary opportunities around it, things like the cool stuff that's coming, let's say, fiat off ramps and Freeman Express and DEX and cards and stuff like that. Those are kind of, picks and shovels type propositions. So I made a commitment early on to Epic. And the reason I have the Litecoin number in mind is because at $1,000, it may make sense to take some chips off the table for a lot of people. And I think that's likely to be a good support level where we go from the farm team to the major leagues. And obviously that's taking a lot for granted of us getting there, but it's not as crazy as it sounds because blockchains that are structured this way have a tendency to compress time, and the numbers need to be looked at in a log scale rather than linear, right? Because everything else looks like a hockey stick.
Right. And HODL versus use case use is also kind of a perspective thing, because look, if people are just holding it and the coin has no utility, it's not really, well, it's crap, as Antonopoulos would put it. Okay, so look, in the past, like we've done, in 2011, let me take you back a decade. Okay, in those elder days, okay, we're looking for use cases for this weird thing called Bitcoin, and we're tipping each other a Bitcoin for a joke, okay, on bitcointalk.org, okay, and we're buying like alpaca socks and all sorts of other stupid stuff, you know, etc. Okay, if that did not happen, and today's maxis will look at it and go, "Well, you guys were retarded." And the thing about that is, if that didn't happen, today's maxis would not be today's maxis, and they wouldn't be millionaires. Okay, so with Epic, for example, we also looked for use cases, and we did fun stuff. Okay, we tip each other. Okay, we tip new members. We give people like, you know, 5 epics, you know, for retweeting something cool, like our favorite uncle here did. Okay, or we, you know, we had a hand-drawn picture that somebody did, okay, and we auctioned it, and it went for like 4,000 plus epics. Now here's a kicker for you, okay. In a few years, I fully believe that picture is going to be worth more than a freaking Picasso, okay. And it's okay. Will the person that spent that epic feel stupid about their decision? I hope not, because they've contributed to the use case ecosystem. Okay, and you know, again, the esteemed American Hodl and the you know, and his brilliant colleagues, you know, laughed when I said that I got a haircut for you know, for Epic Cash. And in fact, I believe Jason actually said it was Supercuts. It wasn't really Supercuts; it was a slightly more upscale place in San Francisco. But who cares? Bottom line is, it's a use case. Okay, it shows usability, because they, you know, on one side they say, well, you know, your coin is crap, and what is it good for? Well, for starters, you can get a haircut for it. Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay, but and then you start expanding on it. Okay, because it's not just a number. It's not just like a couple of percent of the rich guys. Okay, soaking up like, well, how many more bitcoins you want? All of them. Okay, I want 8 more today. You know, it's like that Mr. whatever from the Monty Python, you know, movie, like the big fat guy that just kept eating, you know, until he exploded. You have to have usability for it. Okay, like, uncle, you hoard Epic, you love Epic, you hodl Epic, but at the same time you use it to tip people. You create an ecosystem. You support an ecosystem. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm seeding the hell out of a lot of people. I want to go to, sorry, Yoga, but I'm going to interrupt because we started talking about encyclopediafreemania.com. Max, do you want to take this and just explain what we've done? I know it's not pretty. You guys have come to know everything within Epic is very, very visually beautiful, but this is giving you peek into, this is just delivered. And so all of the elegance comes later, but we wanted to show you the amazing utility of this. Max, just tell me where you want me to go.
Yeah, so huge shout out to Shelly and Diego for taking leadership on this. So essentially the exercise is to go through all of our chat groups. I mean, not all of them, but there's a lot, and harvest out the content. FreeU is a great resource, and mining and help desk and all of that. So just basically all the content that people could want, making it easy to find, because Telegram is great for real-time chat, but it's not the easiest for deep research and searching and stuff like that. And so if you want to contribute and help maintain this wiki software on Encyclopedia Freemania, you too can help. So I would say this is a great example of how we make our sausage, which is a decentralized community of people in different places that may not know each other and usually don't in real life, that come together to make stuff happen. And so with this type of structure, you can really imagine how it can really go far, because there's no reason this can't be eventually as substantive as Wikipedia itself for topics related to Epic. And so if you go to the glossary there for a second, over on the left-hand side.
The glossary.
Down. Okay. Yeah, there you go. So we're going to elaborate on this with links and images and further reading and stuff like that. But I mean, even here, just the jargon is so confusing and such a learning curve to get your head around. Even if you put in thousands of hours, like I put in 10,000 plus hours and I still hardly know anything, or at least that's how I feel most days. And so we're really making an investment in educational content that enable people to take it a bite at a time at their pace. And then further, we're really serious about our long tail language commitment. So translating all of this into different languages, that's actually going to be something that people will be able to earn ECR tokens for doing. So if that's of interest, please raise your hand and get in touch some way, because we want everyone everywhere to be able to participate in this, regardless of whether they're savvy with the latest English tech words or not. We're incidentally, I know I've mentioned this a few times before, but we're about to drop 19 African indigenous languages PDF materials on epicentral.io. And then we're working on South American indigenous language coming up here called Quechua that is in Ecuador. So you were close on Ecuador, just not in the case of Enrique.
So encyclopedia freemania.com. I'm going to make sure that I add that to my show description notes. And that is excellent. And just for those of you, I was like, is this part of Wikipedia then? And Diego educated me that Wikipedia is a wiki, and a wiki is a repository of information. So Wikipedia happens to be a repository of everything, all information. So our Wikipedia, which is encyclopediafreemania.com, our wiki is a repository of information related to the Epic ecosystem. So that's one you're definitely going to want to bookmark and learn your way around. And as that populates or gets populated, it's going to be just a fantastic resource for anybody new to Epic. So thank you, Diego and Shelley, for taking the initiative to do that. You all are rock stars. Okay, we are at 1:18. Usually we try to keep this to an hour. So I'm going to stop screen sharing this. Thanks for walking through that with us, Max. And look, it's been an epic week, guys, and it really has been. And I am proud to be part of an incredible community and really invite you, especially those of you, because I know there's so many new users, so many new people who are getting to Epic Cash. We do invite you to please come to t.me/Epic Cash. And that's just a great place to get started. And from there, you can branch off into other areas of interest. If you are a creative sort, an artist, we have channels that are associated with Epic Cash art, memes. We have musicians. We have the ladies of Epicenter. We have Freeman U, which is like, going in and having a professor up there who takes the time to be able to really drill down into things. So I love the community, and I think you're going to love the community too. We are always here on Fridays at noon, Epic Cash Live, bringing you these weekly updates. Please go down and smash that like button and subscribe to the channel, but also make sure that you add some comments in there, because that helps get the attention to the algorithm or logarithm or whatever the hell they say that is. And this is the biggest thing that you can do. The biggest thing that you can do. Why don't you share this channel with one other person in your life who you think might be crypto curious, right? We have about 3,000 subscribers now. Why not make that 5,000? And, it just starts one at a time, guys. I'd like people to help blow this channel up, because what's around the corner is just going to be more and more and more information drops. I think we have a track record now of a couple of months to where you see on Fridays, it's worth the price of admission. You get a lot of information. So that's all I have to say. But Enrique, you have anything on the way out?
Yeah, we have to plan for the next show during the week.
Yeah,
go through the exercise we discussed here about going through the sell orders and the supply, and kind of do a simulation about how many dollars it would take to move the price up to XYZ levels. So
It's going to be dedicated to American Hodl. Thank you, American Hodl, for your mockery and inspiring us to come educate you. So that's going to be Wednesday night at 7 p.m. sharp. We will live stream. So please join us then. Thank you for that reminder. And thank you for your work on that, Enrique. L. McMurphy. Yoga, you're walking with the Ducks. What you have any exit shout outs or anything?
One of the communities that you didn't mention that I'm particularly fond of is the mining community. And I just want to remind the mining community to make sure that they update to server 2.17. This is not a huge thing, but it's an extremely important thing. Just make sure that if you're mining or running a server, that you update it. It's from the official website, the epic.tech, from the download section. Just make sure that you're up and running on 2.17, and that accommodates the network's halving. So if you don't update today, you will have to update tomorrow. So that's kind of the short of it.
That's awesome. And, the third halving, I thought it was the second. So thank you, Max, for clarifying that for me. So the third halving is happening tomorrow. That is just,
I guess is the second. Wait, we went from 16 to 8. This will be 4. So the third, we're beginning era 3. That would be the second halving.
okay.
If I misspoke.
Okay. No worries. So it's the
Yeah.
second halving.
Let's not hurry things too far, but yeah, it's the second halving. But again, the network difficulty is going up. The network emission is going down. So Epic is getting squeezed, in terms of scarcity already pretty hard. But there's still plenty of time for people to get on board and to be able to mine their own blocks and do all sorts of other exciting stuff. And we do have really excellent mining pools set up, for people with smaller computers. They just, if they can't solve their own blocks, they can join in a mining pool. And there are instructions online for how to do that. So people who are with gaming rigs, business laptops, stuff like that, can grab some of their own Epic.
That's awesome. I mean, it's a way to acquire Epic is if you're interested in that. What is the Telegram for mining, Yoga?
Since I'm working with Ducks, they're not telling me, but it's, if you go on just our, standard Telegram and just do search for Epic, for mining,
Epic Miners.
you'll see it.
It's Epic Miners.
Yeah.
Epic
Yeah,
Miners.
just Epic Miners. Yep.
That's it.
T.me
it's-
/ Epic Miners, plural, everyone.
And we have Epic Cash Help Desk as well. So if you need hand holding, don't be shy. Very noob friendly. No shame. The only questions that are stupid are the ones that aren't asked. So if you're a pro OG and want to talk shop with other pros, go to Epic Miners. If you're a noob and want to get started in a very easy way, then go to Epic Cash Help Desk. And I recommend the Black Tiger Easy Miner 2.0. It simplifies the configuration down from many steps to only a handful.
Yep.
That's
All
awesome.
good stuff. Yep.
Okay, Max.
It just keeps getting better.
Max, why don't you take us out, sir?
Yeah, so you mentioned dopamine, and that's an important neurotransmitter, but I think we should also come back to what we're really doing here, which for me is about oxytocin. So thanks everybody for being a part of the Freeman family. And it's good to finally get some validation, and you ain't seen nothing yet. If we keep staying true to our values and working hard, there's no limit to what we can achieve.
That's excellent. Okay, everyone. Thank you who are in the chat. Really appreciate you. Come back and see us Wednesday evening. Oh, my goodness. Sorry. Did I mention this earlier? I don't think so. But down below, you're going to find a link to the epicness of Epic Cash written by a community member, Captain Pi. Captain Pi is in China. And we're going to have coffee with Captain Pi tonight. He'll be drinking coffee. Maybe you'll be drinking a little something else. But we're going to go live tonight at 8 p.m. And we are going to walk through his article that is like a game changer article. If you haven't read that, or if you have somebody who is Epic curious and you just want to send them one thing to be able to read, to get up to speed, that was written by Captain Pi. Legend, legend, legend. I am so grateful to have him on. I was going to have him on 2 Wednesdays ago, but my equipment pooped out. Sorry. So please join us tonight. It's going to be fun. We're going to learn a lot. And especially for those of you new to the party who really, really want to dive in and kind of learn, hey, I don't know much about this, but if I were to invest 2 hours and not have to go back through all of Uncle V's videos, tonight might be the night you want to tune in. So, oh, I'm so glad I didn't screw that up and not announce that. All right, everyone. Well,